You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. On this show, we're using color films made in the old US of A between the years 1945 and 1965 as windows into the past. We climb through these windows, and we have ourselves a look around at the world as it was during this pivotal era following the Second World War. And while we do this, we're going to be asking some questions, some critical questions, such as, who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating each other? What decisions are they making, and why? Also, and possibly most importantly, what are they wearing? And what do their living rooms look like? Then, at the end of the show, we'll be asking the vital question on behalf of all humanity. Do we keep watching this? Are we going to keep going? Or could we just leave it behind? We'll find out. I'm your host, by the way, through time and or space, Justin Zeppa, joined as ever by my international panel of experts at being human beings in the 21st century. I'm going to start with the most international of all, Miss Shrishma Naik. Hey, Shrish.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back.
Up? Thanks.
Sorry, I just stepped all over your line there.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
All I was going to say was what's up. I'm very excited to talk about this movie.
So you did have more. I wanted to give you space to
have more.
Yeah, of course. She's a giver. She gives people.
Like to share. But yeah, let's get into this.
We're going to do it. And then also joining us from across the pond, my sister and yours, Carolyn Naoroz. What's up, sis?
Hey there. Glad to be here for another great movie.
We are so glad to have you. Obviously, we're missing our co-hosts. So you familiar listeners of the show will recall last week, Catherine had to go down to the dig site, crack some Union skulls. She, of course, has to go, now she had to go to the police station to make a statement. Our other co-host, Brindis, decided to go with her for moral support. And so they're just off doing that. And so we are just going to pick up the slack. You know, these guys, they're there for each other. We're here for each other.
And for the listeners.
And for you guys.
Right?
Especially you people behind the paywall. We love you guys. You guys are doing great. Okay, you guys, we're talking this week, taking a trip to the grand year, the victory year of 1945. You better believe it. We watched Leave Her to Heaven.
Woo!
Shrishma, I feel like you have things to say. Why don't you start us off with your one-line snap judgment review?
I mean, hold on. Okay. I mean, what is heaven supposed to do for this chick? She's crazy. Explain to me.
That's a great point. And we'll try to do that very thing.
I just don't understand.
Carolyn, how about you? One-line snap judgment review.
Don't marry a stone cold bitch. Are we allowed to swear on this one?
Simple. Yeah, we're a cursing show. I don't think we'll be able to do it any other way. And that's great advice for anybody in most occasions. I've got society's recent acceptance of therapy and mood stabilizing medicines as a way of coping with mental health issues is as revolutionary as splitting the atom. There's got to be a better way.
You think the meds would have helped her?
There's got to be a better way. There's got to be some.
I don't think she would have even taken the meds.
That's true. She would have swapped them out.
You're right.
Yeah, with sugar pills or some fucking... Guys, all right. We had our fun. We did our one line.
Right.
What do you... Shrishma, what are you thinking about this?
So I was telling you guys, it's interesting because, yeah, she's crazy. But, you know, there's been moments where you want attention and you want everything to be, you know, just about you and the person you're with. And, you know, it's not like I haven't had thoughts like, man, I'm sure this guy would just go, or like there's other people around. Like,
yeah, okay,
I've never wanted to like kill somebody. But I would have said like, you know, some unpleasant things about them.
We've all had those moments.
Right.
There is a way to deal with them.
Maybe not so far as murder. But at the same time, I think I thought it was enjoyable in that I think this was finally a movie that I could like relate to in some kind of weird way.
I love that you're relating to this movie.
And so not like I've been that crazy.
Maybe it's because you're a man, Justin, that you can't you're a man baby and you can't understand that the ladies have some thoughts and feelings sometimes.
Hey, I'm a sensitive modern man. I have plenty of thoughts and feelings, and I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I've
been blinded. Like there's definitely been instances in my life where I've just been blinded by like pure emotion.
Yeah.
That nothing else really matters.
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Yeah. Again, I would recommend, do some journaling or something like that.
Kill someone.
Not yet.
Yet.
There's hope for you.
That's fair.
Carolyn, do you have anything to add to this odd
Yes. So
hot snake.
This hot snake.
Hot snakes.
I definitely had a moment at the beginning of the film where I thought it was going to go in a different direction a little bit. And I was remembering or getting Chinatown vibes. When we get there, we can discuss it. But when our main character, Ellen, her cousin Ruth is introduced and she's like, oh, well, Mrs. So-and-so, whatever their names were, adopted me. I was like, this woman already has daddy issues. Is this actually her daughter and not her cousin?
I kind of forgot about the adoption part. Yeah, that is.
I really and this, it does make sense in the context of this movie that she was adopted and why the mother wanted to adopt her. But like, I had this moment where I was like, she has full on crazy daddy issues. That'd be my follow up.
Yeah.
Don't marry a stone cold bitch, especially one with daddy issues, because.
Yeah. and listeners. Listeners, if you have not seen this movie and you're like, Stone Cold Bitch, this is a little harsh. This is a little...
Go, stop what you're doing. Go watch it.
I recommend this. Look, you guys, I love this movie. Are you guys ready to poke around? You want to see what's happening in 45? We're opening with the 20th Century Fox logo, classic logo, right? This movie opens with a really heavy fanfare, ending with a sort of foreboding timpani sort of heartbeat pulse that takes us right into Deer Lake, Maine, which is a stunning spot with an enormous sky. I mean, everything about this movie is, framing wise, everything that we see in this film is the biggest version of that thing that you can conceive of. So when we're looking outside, we're seeing across this massive lake, tons of sky.
It's not actually in Maine though, right?
Where is this at? Do you know?
It's in the Sierra Mountains.
Okay.
It's like
California.
It said it at the end credits, and I can't remember which lake it is, but this is actually out in California.
Richard pulls up. His name is Richard Harland, also known as Dick Harland. He comes up in this lovely boat and is helped onto the dock by Glenn Roby, we find out his former attorney. So already we're sort of wondering, what's this all about? What's happening here? And we get some fun shots of the locals, some local fisher people. Like I like everything about this older couple here. Again, we got corduroy jackets, we've got floppy fishing hats, we've got rowboats, and just this beautiful sky back there. This is a great look for everybody, and they've all kind of come out to witness the arrival of Dick Harland. And so...
Because this is his home, I guess.
It is. He's been away for a couple years, we find.
Yeah.
We run into a pair of older gentlemen as well. And the only reason I want to talk about these guys is because, again, the outfits. I mean, like, this is just...
They're so great.
How you should dress as a man, I think. But these guys look great. The lawyer, Glenn Roby... sort of ushers Richard over to a canoe, and he sends him off to across the lake. And we're kind of wondering, all right, what's going on here? One of the locals asks, isn't that Dick Harland? And what is he doing? Like, what's going on with this guy? Yeah. And Glenn Roby starts to tell us the tale of, a couple years ago, this guy ran into a real fistful of trouble, right? And he ended up going to jail. I was his attorney. I was his very awful attorney who let him go to jail. For some reason, he's still talking to me.
Did he go to jail?
Yeah, he goes to jail. So this is him returning back.
Okay. Maybe I missed that part.
And the place that he's going to is a cabin called Back of the Moon.
Right.
This lake that we're at is shaped like a crescent moon. And apparently on the back of it, he's got this little place. So he's going out there, returning to his home after a couple years in the slammer. Now, to get to the point of, well, why did this happen?
Why did he go to jail?
Yeah, we have to flashback. So who are we talking about here? Of course, we're talking about the her from Leave Her to Heaven. Yeah.
The stone cold bitch.
Stone cold bitch, also known as Ellen Barrett.
Yes.
Ellen Barrett. And we meet her on the train. So Dick Harlan is on a beautiful one Art Deco-y style train. And he's really living, what's that?
I love this train.
This is a fantastic train. It's a great look all around.
So I have a question here.
Yeah.
Is the book she's reading, is the author...
It's him.
It's him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is so as a writer, I must tell you, this is every man's, any writer, not even a man, excuse me, any writer's fantasy of like, I'm going to go onto this transportation.
Yes.
Must include transportation. No, it could be a supermarket.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. I'm going to go somewhere and see a beautiful person that I'm attracted to reading my book. I mean, this is the best day of this guy's life, right? Until he watches her fall asleep while she's reading it. Oh, and we should also note that just real quick, there is an ashtray over here next to her on this flat surface. But I have to say, and perhaps you guys noticed this as well, very few ashtrays in this movie.
Yeah.
This really is the bread and butter of this program, of course.
I think finally I've learned to keep track of the ashtrays.
Okay.
And this time, like, the mental count was much lower.
So low.
Yes.
I mean, they're there, but again, and we talked about this last week. I feel like America, and this is not true at all, but it feels like America is still starting to smoke at this point. Like this, we're still like, yeah, I like to have a cigarette. I need one ashtray, not 13 like Brad Allen from Pillow Talk.
Not by 1959 standards of one at every available service.
59. What a glorious year for scotch and cigarettes like that, and hatlessness too. It's a real pivot point for the U.S. of A.
Feeling themselves in 1959.
59. It's not. Yeah, right. It's not quite the scary 60s yet. We're definitely deep into 50. Oh, yeah, that's right. We got Kennedy's in off. No, Kennedy's about to be elected. Yeah, about to be elected. It's an exciting time. Camelot.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, they've had like 10 years since the war at this point. 10, 15 years.
In 59? Yeah, right.
So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
must have gotten better.
Things have gone kind of, they've stabilized a little bit. The U.S. is at the top of the world, and we're really feeling ourselves. We can smoke forever. Who needs it? We'll figure out cancer, no problem. We split the atom. So there's a very long sequence. She eventually wakes up, and there's a very long sequence where she watches him as he lights a cigarette that just goes on forever, it feels like. And he's sort of like, yeah, she's checking me out. But then it turns out that she thinks that he looks just like her father. Which is, I have a note here, red flag, exclamation point. Beware. Just be... It's good to be aware. I'm not going to say anything one way or the other about it. Just, you start mixing the things so early, like right away. But he, as soon as this comes out, he immediately starts working her. He is over sitting next to her all of a sudden. He's like putting the moves on, talking about how he'd been staring at her and exotic words drifted across the mirror of his mind. And, the tales of the Arabian Nights and frankincense.
Like Scheherazade.
Yes, and myrrh and patchouli, she says, and so that becomes her nickname is Patchouli. So Ellen, of course, is very, very clever, and she's also in the middle of reading this book, so she just calls out his lines as like, yeah, you're just pulling this right from the book. This is shame on you. And here we do get some wide shots of this beautiful train. And since we're low on ashtrays, here's what I'd like to do for this film. Is I'd like to do sort of like a ceiling inventory because So much of this film is ceilings. It's framed in such a strange way. I don't think I've seen cinematography like this where the characters just fill the bottom half of a screen and then the top half is just the ceiling. It turns out that they're getting off at the same stop and they're going to the same ranch, which is owned by their friend Glenn, the lawyer, whom we have already met. Meanwhile, while everybody's hanging out here at Glenn Roby's ranch, everybody keeps talking about this Danny guy. How's Danny doing? Where's Danny at? What's up with Danny? You gonna go see Danny? What's the deal? And so it makes the viewer, us, wonder, who is this compelling Danny guy? We're not going to find out just yet, you guys, because talk quickly turns to dead dad. We go to an amazing dinner, which looks, again, just
very Downton Abbey-esque without the servants and the butlers.
Yes, we do have one servant, it looks like.
Okay.
She's back there with a tray. Again, ceiling alert, everybody.
But that's
in this
no
dining
footman.
room.
It's the footmen who serve the dinners.
But
they're also not dressed in black tie.
Yeah, can I ask you guys this? How is Bates doing?
Bates is better.
Is Bates managing?
They had a baby. So he's living the life of his dreams now.
But are you sure Bates is managing?
Well, we'll have to see in the next movie that comes out.
Yeah, we have to wait and see the updates on the Bateses.
Apologies to Catherine for the accents, but this is just what you guys sound like.
It is. I tried to do it, but I couldn't.
Seriously, be honest with me, Bates. Are you managing? It's all right.
Well,
I'm fine, sir. I'm fine.
I have a son now.
Yeah.
And he's quite a handful.
What's the, not to be confused with Carson, Mrs. Hughes?
They get married
Mrs.
too.
Hughes?
Do they?
They do.
Damn.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil.
No, it's cool. I mean,
Spoiler.
spoiler alert from like 8 years ago, right?
Right.
You never put the melon spoon next to the soup spoon, Mrs. Hughes.
So we're at this beautiful dinner. We've got, again, tall candles, very on brand for the time. We've seen tall candles all over the goddamn place, hanging out. Everybody's having a great time. Talk turns to dead dad. And it is about
Ellen just can't not talk about her daddy.
She loves talking about daddy.
Loves him.
And she just, Mother, don't you see how... did we talk about the mom? We met mom and Ruth,
mom and
right?
sister.
And the sister Ruth, right? Who's also a knockout, but is a classic younger sister, right? Sort of will forever be in the shadow of Ellen, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole background story on that, which unlike my version where she was really Ellen's daughter by her father, incest. It's a plot line.
Oh, you thought that Ruth was her daughter?
No.
I thought that's where this movie was heading.
Because of the Chinatown. That she's my daughter, she's my sister, she's my daughter.
She's my sister. She's my daughter.
See, I wasn't quite sure what your Chinatown.
I thought her obsession with her father was because she and her father were having like an incestuous
He's my
affair.
father. He's my husband. He's my father. He's my husband.
I actually thought that maybe she actually killed her dad for the same reason all of the other stuff happens, but that story never really comes out.
No.
Like how the dad died and like what their relationship was.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple of roads not taken in this movie.
Well, I mean, it's you're like
1945, guys.
Right. It's like an hour and 40 minutes into the movie, and all of a sudden we discover there's a basement laboratory. What the fuck? Like, what? Why are we just finding out about the basement laboratory now? So, she's like, well, that's cool, but I gotta get married. Let's do this. And she vows to never, ever let Richard go. Mm-hmm. Yeesh. So then we move into the next phase of our film, you guys. We're going to Warm Springs, Georgia. By the way, we're meeting Danny. We've heard so much about this Danny character. What's his deal? And it turns out that Danny is Richard's little brother. And yes, he had polio and he can no longer walk.
You just thought he'd had an accident. I'm here to tell you. Kid has polio.
Okay. No, this all lines up for me.
This is why swimming, only upper body, but would have been very therapeutic because it would make him feel like
That's interesting because I was wondering how they were swimming in the first place. So it's all upper body strength.
I guess so, but also he was able to do some crutch walking, as we find out. He's been practicing, so he's not gonna walk again, right?
Not like without aid.
But it's just more of handling yourself. So we meet Danny. He's a sweet kid, this guy, and he really loves Richard. Dick's his hero, basically, and he's super excited to see him. He's missed him a lot. So later, Ellen is chatting with Danny, who brags that only 3 people in the world have ever been to Back of the Moon. And we're going to hear a lot about Back of the Moon at this point, which again is the cabin up at the lake in Maine / Tahoe, or, wherever, the Sierras.
Bass Lake.
Tap the Rockies, whatever one does. So, and he basically invites himself along to Back of the Moon, and Ellen is bummed about it. Because, again, she's made it very clear she wants Richard to herself. Pardon me, team. Sorry, guys. Sorry to break in here into my own retelling of Leave Her to Heaven. You guys just want the ending, the thrilling conclusion. I know, but we're only halfway there, and I got to tell you about the merch store. So here we go. We've got a TeePublic store where you can support our program. We're an independent podcast, so everything that you send our way absolutely helps us make our show. So please check out the link in the show notes. Today I want to recommend for you, my fine friend, it's a new design called the Atomic Living Room, and it is just very much of what we do here. We dress up in jumpsuits, protective gear, and we travel through time, and we check out people's living rooms from a bygone era. Bygone it. And we will continue to do so, with your help, of course. So please, I would like to see you get the Atomic Living Room. May I please recommend to you, person, this, it's one of these tall, it's one of those, I don't know what they're called exactly, like the thermal mugs, the tall ones, the ones that you put your gas station coffees in. You pour it in there, it's plastic, it's got a great design on the outside, Atomic Living Room in this case, and you screw the lid on, and you've got yourself portable coffee that will remain at that temperature for a designated amount of time. So please get one of these today. Thank you. Back to the show. So the series of events that happens at this point is the whole goddamn gang is here. It's her, it's Dick, it's Danny, it's Thorne. Back of the Moon is feeling very crowded for Ms. Ellen. Danny's been practicing on the sly his swimming, and he wants to impress his brother Dick, of course, and Ellen, who's been a very good sport about all this, allegedly. So we cut to them out in the rowboat, the old family rowboat. She is giving him a rather sensual massage of suntan oil.
Was that even oil? Okay, that was actually oil.
It looked like maple syrup or something like that.
Okay. Well, when in Maine.
Yeah, I guess so. This is how we do it up here. Maple syrup over there, rub it on my backside. They have a little like tickle party and everything, and it's, I don't know, it's uncomfortable. But
it's awkward.
This is maybe what happened in the mid 1940s, I guess. This is what Victory in the Pacific brought us, was
they weren't applying sunscreen.
Oily back
that
rubs.
much we can tell you.
So she's like, all right, get in that water. Danny starts swimming. He's like, well, I made it, halfway across last time. I think I can make it all the way now. And she's like, yeah, you go do that. And
as she slowly rows behind him, and he makes no progress forward until he's like, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, he gets a little stitch in his side.
I can't go anymore. I'm tired.
And she's like, no, keep going, Danny. You're fine. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure you're okay.
But does she throw him off direction too? So does she send him on a long path?
I guess so. I don't think he's making it in any path that he's taking, in my opinion, from what I can see.
She does. You're right, Shrishma, though, because he's like, okay, I'm not going to look. I'm just going to go.
I'll direct you.
Yeah, I'll keep your course.
I'll keep your direction or whatever.
Right. And she kind of looks behind and looks forward and is clearly not keeping any kind of direction.
Yeah. So he's getting winded, and he's just so he starts gasping and everything. This poor guy, he's trying so hard. And she's just like, keep going, Danny. Keep going. And at this point,
You can do it.
yeah, her face is a mask of
It's stone cold.
it's chilly. You don't want to see this face. And she's got these sunglasses on, and she's wearing this big old like swimsuit,
White terry
coverall.
cloth robe.
Right, with massive lapels, and she's out rowing this boat. Like, yeah, you're fine, Danny. He keeps swimming, and then, oh my goodness, he really starts gasping, and he starts asking for help. And she's just
he drowns so quickly. I was like, it's on par with them putting Fredo in the boat in Godfather 2.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It is shockingly quick. And also, it makes sense. I mean, he's like, it's a little bit colder than I thought it was going to be. And she's just like, oh, no, Danny, no. And she just, folks, she
Watches
sits
him.
there
And watches him
drown. And I'll tell you what I love about this scene, other than her just being so chilly about it. I mean, it's the equivalent of the Martians in War of the Worlds. It's just like, no mercy. You're dead now. Sorry. This works for me. But I love this scene because there is no music.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
this movie is really good about, and I know it was just the style at the time, but I do think it's really effective because one thing that I have gotten so tired of in the past 20 years is the manipulation that a soundtrack can do.
Score. Yeah.
And I'm not made of stone.
And the
over
foreshadowing a soundtrack can do.
here. Yes, absolutely. As heard in our foreboding timpani earlier in this film. But look, I like a great score, of course. I grew up with Johnny Boy Williams and all this stuff. I love it. But I don't need, if they're sad, I don't always need the weepy strings. If it's some kind of moment of crisis like we have here, I don't need to hear the cellos. Just let this kid drown in this lake in the middle of fucking nowhere while this crazy woman watches.
He drowns so quickly. Again, he's just like, it goes from, it's a quick scene.
Yeah. But the lack of music momentum seems to stretch time a bit.
Mirror her soul.
Yeah, and also just the empty, the blank, the void that lives within her. And at this point, then Dick comes outside. She sees that. She's like, oh, okay, I got to start my performance. And she starts doing her Danny No stuff. And yeah, and I mean, I don't know how they did this, but he goes under the water for a long time, and then it's just bubbles coming up, and it's bone chilling and awesome. And this is halfway through this film. This is the most important part. This is shocking to me. This is the part where it was like, oh, I got to talk about this with somebody. I need to show this to somebody. And here we are. You guys, we did it a couple years later.
And here we are.
Thank you so much.
So this had to be we're shocked as a modern audience.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen this movie before. So you've got to think about a 1945 audience is probably like,
yeah. So, okay, run me through this. You guys, we probably should have front loaded with this, but you guys had not seen this before, this movie. What did this do to you, this scene?
So obviously I was shocked. It was like, whoa.
Legitimately shocked, yeah.
But I felt like she was going to do something, but I didn't realize it was going to be this
cold-blooded,
drastic.
Yeah. Passive
and I didn't realize it was one of three crazy things she goes on.
And I'm surprised, I guess, because you didn't know that it was a polio context there, that I'm like, oh, this kid's going to drown. So I knew it was coming.
Okay.
But
okay.
And then at that point I was like, oh, this bitch. That was my reaction, was just like, you stone cold bitch.
Yeah. I can't compare it to anything. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's contemporary that has the same just ruthless impact. And we're inundated with violence in media, so on and so forth.
Right.
But this is
something
is special about this one. I don't know.
This scene, okay, but we've already talked about so we are, as a modern audience, we see all these things like sex scenes, violence, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
But how sexy was that cigarette scene in North by Northwest?
Yeah, red hot.
On the train.
Yep.
You were like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, we don't need the human imagination. Doesn't need much to set us off on, we don't need a violent scene.
Yeah.
This is a sad death, I mean, obviously, Godfather 2, it was they took Fredo on the boat, taking a dog out back to put him down. This is different, though. This is like a vibrant young man that she's like, I'm going to let you die because you're in my way.
That's the thing. Fredo, Fredo's of that world. There was a very good chance that Michael was going to do this to him at some point anyway.
Right, right. Where this is like an innocent young man who just got on her last nerve, which to me, I'm also like, hey, don't fuck with women.
Which... Is that the,
you might be on my last
takeaway?
nerve.
Okay.
Yes. Don't fuck with me. I might be on my last nerve.
Fair enough.
You happen to die? I can't be blamed.
Yeah. Oh, I tried. I just paralyzed. It's crazy. I don't know what happened.
I was in shock. It was happening. I couldn't move. And
we get it. Okay, so from here we go to Bar Harbor, and it is so sad. And Dick is so sad. I mean, he's sitting out on the rocks of Bar Harbor next to this beautiful matte painting of a nice house. And the sea spray is hitting him, and he doesn't give a shit. He's just
he's in a full suit, by the way, and hat, sitting in the surf.
Yes,
depressed.
So sad about little Danny boy. And so at Bar Harbor, by the way, this is where Ellen's mom and sister cousin Ruth live.
Oh, we didn't even talk about, to be nice, what's his butt? What is his name?
Thorne?
I could never remember it. No, our main character's name.
Richard.
Yeah.
Dick. Right. Okay, that's right. Before Danny passing away in a drowning accident, he had invited the mother and the sister up to visit. That really pushed Ellen off the edge. And then Danny was sort of like, I think that they knew what was going to happen because they invited Danny down to visit them in Bar Harbor where there's a school and things. And
they tried this a couple times.
Dick was like, no. Yeah. And they kept offering it. So now we are in Bar Harbor
where
Danny could have gone and been happy and loved.
Nope. No frolicking for Danny in Bar Harbor. But yeah, this comes up a couple times. And Ellen, this is actually in the boat right before he goes in. She's like, don't you want to go to maybe just check out Bar Harbor? We'll be there in a couple weeks. I need privacy. I need
alone time
with my new husband. And he's like, nah, I'm going to wait for Dick.
For all of us to go together.
We're going to go together, and I'm just a part of your life now. I'm not sure if you knew that when you signed up, but here I am. Anyway, time for my swim. Sorry, Danny. I know it's mean, but buddy.
But it was.
He's a kid. He can't read the situation.
No, he can't. Is he a kid? How old is Danny?
He looks like
I don't know.
15.
I think he's like 14.
Okay. I feel like we're veering very close to late teens.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know some clueless late teens. I have lived with a couple.
Yeah, no question about it. And this guy is as clueless as it gets. What a life. He's had no room in his life to learn social.
He just had to deal with
normalcy.
polio most.
Yeah, exactly, right. He's been doing that. Totally understandable. Danny, it's not your fault. I'm sorry, but you had to go. So, Bar Harbor. We're back with Mom. We're back with Ruth. And they're talking about...
Dick is convalescing on
the seaside. He looks so sad, for God's sake. And they talk about his grief and how it's ruined back the moon for him. He's like, I can never go back there. And Ruth makes the suggestion that maybe if they had a baby...
because babies solve all the problems.
This could fix the issues. And Ellen, because she's Ellen... is into it. And so, boy, that happens.
Because it would make him happy.
Yeah, so...
And he is happy about it.
He is happy.
She's immediately like, I
have to share
hate
my
this.
life now with the baby.
Yes, and we fast forward to a couple of months where she is now pregnant. And Dick and Ruth and Mom are rehabilitating Dad's laboratory. Yeah. Dead Dad was a scientist. He had a laboratory in Bar Harbor in his house. And they're turning that into the nursery. So then we get a little reference to, all the laboratory stuff had to go to the basement. This is the basement lab we were talking about earlier. What's happened during these months of early pregnancy is that it turns out that Ellen is a bit of a pill when she is pregnant. And Richard is like, well, I have no joy in my life since my brother drowned, actually under your care, honey. So, but I do like Ruth is chill and we have a great time together. And
she gardens.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we didn't even talk about how she was out building a garden. Her nickname is the gal with the hoe.
Oh, right. She has a so he had a pet name for her at the beginning, which was the
Patchouli, yeah.
or that. And then now he has a pet name for the sister. So I think that also really triggers our girl here.
Yes.
And what a nickname, Girl with the Hoe.
Yeah. Girl with the hoe.
I feel he could have done better.
It was a different time.
In all these scenes, it's so clear that Ellen's mother and sister cousin are
very
like
scared of her.
And very knowing, like they know.
Yeah, they do know.
But like, why not have an honest conversation with Dick and be like, it takes, like, they're so veiled about their comments and saying, like, she loves too much.
Yes.
It should be like, bitch, she's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, this is, I also wanted to point out this nursery was it's just a reminder of how shitty toys were back then. We've gotten so much better at toys. All of these toys look awful. Nothing looks like any fun. Like this like is just a porcelain pigeon. Like, what is this?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 30 seconds.
Okay, then this would be the Cliffs of Monterey, right? I believe.
Yes. It's supposed to be Bar Harbor, but that's totally Monterey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ellen comes up to the nursery, too, while they're redecorating, and she gets
upset.
Well, she gets shamed for climbing stairs. Do pregnant women, are they not allowed to climb stairs?
Seems like she's supposed to be rather...
1945. Probably.
She's supposed to be rather bedridden, it seems like. And that's what she's also pissed about, is that this baby's holding her
That's
hostage.
the thing. Yeah. The doctor comes over and is like, you need to stop gadding about, quote unquote, gadding about. You guys, you women and your gadding and your murders.
She doesn't even look pregnant.
So she's, the rule is no shrimps, no stairs. That's the name of the game. And that's a policy actually that we follow on this podcast too. No shrimps, no stairs. And she's hating it, of course. So, and she watches as Dick and Ruth do human things together in front of a projected backdrop, which is the Monterey Cliffs, of course, and Bar Harbor, and so on and so forth. Ellen points out that Ruth is actually more fun than she is, and that she hates her own baby.
Because she calls it a little beast.
Yeah. And she also, So she decides, look, I can't do this baby thing anymore. This is really holding me back. Nobody wants to hang out with me.
Babies are overrated.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
I thought this would bring us closer together, but really all it's done is brought him closer to sister cousin. So she concocts a plan. Shrishma, would you like to tell us about this plan right now?
Yeah, so she decides to send her baby to heaven. No.
Maybe that's what the reference is.
Right.
Leave the baby to heaven.
But she basically throws herself down a flight of stairs.
Yeah. She
causing herself harm to get rid of this child that she really doesn't want. Yeah.
Just to have Richard.
Just to have him all to herself.
She's got it even in death.
So here is where I would have drawn the line.
So, this is
why would I hurt myself?
If you were in her
Right.
shoe. Okay.
Right,
I was thinking from Richard's perspective. Like, you don't think the brother death was enough to pull the plug on this? Okay.
Like if I would, kill self-harm is where I would draw the line.
Yeah,
on,
okay.
being obsessive.
Sure. And I feel like, this is a testament to her craziness at this point because, she is a very wealthy, well put together woman, very smart, charming when she wants to be. But she's like, I'm going to show these motherfuckers. I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to get rid of this baby.
I always win.
Yeah. So she takes a little a shoe and she wedges it into the carpet awkwardly, and then she just goes for it. She just takes a breath and throws
her
herself.
body down.
Oh my God!
Stairs.
And this is the second moment within 10, 15 minutes where I'm like, oh my God! Like, what is this movie? What is this? And that's why we're talking about it today, you guys. So then we cut to her living her best life post miscarriage.
Then I got really confused because I thought this was actually Ruth, but it's actually
they do look
her.
a lot alike.
They do, but she is out on the beach and she is swimming and she's having a great time,
baby free.
Yeah, and she made up some story about how she was sleepwalking. This is how it happened apparently, and it is all so fake. At this point, though, Ruth wants to move out because the vibes are just too weird in the house.
Right. She can't stand to live in the house.
Yeah. So, and she's just like, with your love, you wrecked mother's life. With your love, you pressed father to death. With your love, you've made a shadow of Richard. You're the most pitiful creature I've ever known.
Damn.
Deal with that.
Damn.
Just truth being laid out by Ruth.
That's the Ruth truth coming at you. This is normal sibling behavior. Carolyn, do you remember the time I told you about how you ruined our parents' lives and probably caused their divorce? No.
No, but I do remember when you told me that I was raised by squirrels and you found me in the Colorado tundra.
Oh, that does sound like me.
Yeah.
Look, it's the privilege of an older brother to fuck with the younger sibling.
I have a cousin's, it's like an older brother and his younger sister.
Yeah.
And he always told her that they found her in the garbage. And then
I think that's every older sibling's wish is that like we're not actually related.
Love you. We just felt sorry for you.
You kind of crashed our party and I'm telling you that like you're not actually related.
You're garbage. You're actual garbage. At this point, Dick's book also arrives. He's been typing away as writers do, and the book is published.
Yep.
And Ellen gets a look at it, and she checks the inscription because we had made reference to this earlier about how her mom was like, just dedicate them all to Ellen. She needs it.
She needs
it. Was more like advice to like it at that point. It's like if you don't dedicate it to her, you're probably causing yourself a lot of like.
Oh, yeah, right.
Trouble.
Look,
so you might as well just put them all to her now.
Save yourself some hassle, right? But what does he do? He dedicates it to the gal with the hoe. Richard might have been a misstep, buddy.
Right.
Probably.
I mean, again, I'd be upset too if my husband wrote a book and dedicated it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too happy.
Yeah. And I don't know. Okay, so Richard's dealing with the death of Danny, the death of his baby. He's going through a lot of things or whatever. Decision-wise, though, he still finished the book.
Right.
Got the book published.
Right.
Still was able to, made the decision to like, my crazy wife who's killing everything I love, or her sister who is actually cool and I enjoy her company. But can this marriage be saved, you guys? Like at that point, Dick, what do you do? Like get out of there.
Right.
But it's 1945. The marital bonds are not broken so easily, you guys. Anyway, Ruth reads her the riot act, takes off. Ellen turns around. Dick's standing there looking like a complete fucking zombie because his life is over. And she's like, I can't help but notice that you dedicated your book to the gal with the hoe. Interesting, honey. He is just behaving really strangely. And she is very suspicious. And she's like, what, honey, ever since Danny. And then she kind of like drops off or whatever. And she goes on a rant about the drowning and about how like, I tried to save him. I really did. And, it was just like a nightmare. And he's like, yeah, kind of like walking in your sleep, huh? Ooh, yeah, twist that knife.
He's getting suspicious.
Yeah. And he melts down and he demands some answers. And she does confess, which is very unexpected. But the other thing that we need to note about the room that this happens in is that great nautical artwork up here. Got some pewter and we've got some clipper ships, and that's all you need in life to be happy. Okay, so at this point, Dick's sort of like, you never actually wanted this baby, so I'm going to take off. Yeah. Now's the time. Why he didn't do this before publishing the book, I don't know. But he's made his decision. Good for him. We then cut to Ellen in some excellent silk pajamas again.
With her
rocking her initials on there.
Lovely monogram.
And she is writing a letter. And she's writing that letter to former fiance Quentin, district attorney, would-be politician, guy she totally burned, right? Burned so bad.
But he'll still love her, is what he told her. He'll always love her.
That's right. So what does she do? She writes this letter. She goes down to Father's laboratory stuff. And again, they've just reconstructed the laboratory from the attic down into the basement. Probably could have spent a couple more scenes here. Just labs are very compelling, right?
I mean, I was personally waiting for Grandpa from the Munsters
I know.
to
I thought the same
from,
thing. Oh, Grandpa's going to whip up a love potion for her. And there's going to be some shenanigans. There's going to be a mix up. They're going to pour it into the wrong bowls of oatmeal. It's a great episode, by the way. My Fair Monster. Check it out, everybody. She goes down to the laboratory. She finds herself some old school, what is it, arsenic or something like this? Or
Good old arsenic.
Yeah. And she starts doing
Good
a lot.
old poison.
Yeah, it's poison time up in this house. So she goes up to Ruth's bathroom. And how do we know it's Ruth's bathroom? Well, her name is written on the towels. So, and she swaps out some bath salts with this arsenic. Then we go to the Continental Airways desk where Dick is about to take off. He's about to fly his life out of there. Good for him. And
To Mexico?
That's possible, right? Because that's where the book was set. Mexico? Yeah, right.
And Ruth said she was going to Mexico.
Good for him. Why not?
Right.
You don't need this, Richard.
But Ellen is clearly setting the stage to put the blame on someone, and that someone is Ruth.
Oh, yeah. There's so many bottle switching shenanigans happening at this point. It's a bit dizzying. So Richard is paged, though, right before he gets to go to Mexico to be with his lady love. And he finds out that Ellen is actually ailing in bed. Mm-hmm. She's not feeling very well. And if we go to this bedroom, we can see a really fun portrait of a cat back here that I quite enjoy. Just a cat lounging on a book. But anyway, she looks very sad and appears to be dying, in fact. Right. And
no ashtrays on the bedside, just a glass of water.
Interesting, right? Because I don't know, if I know I'm on my deathbed, I don't have a cigarette. But anyway, she tells him that she wants to be cremated and scattered just like old Dad. And then she says, "I'll never let you go, Richard," as she finally passes away.
This part shocked me.
That she died.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like...
And you'd think, movie over, she's dead.
Yep.
But no.
Crazy times, the end. Uh-oh, enter Vincent Price.
The lawyer.
So Quentin, of course, her long-lost former fiance, he gets this letter and, submits it as evidence and all this. And he, Vincent Price, really chewing on this scenery, huh? Really just gnawing away. But he gets everybody up on the stand and he just hammers them. And I really do appreciate his performance. Like he's fucking giving it to Richard, especially of like, so you're in love with Ruth. You love your wife, of course, but do you love her in September? Do you love her in October? When are you loving her?
When do you stop loving her? And when does she become a problem to you?
Kind of, and I'm sure we've all been in this situation where it's like, I would love, like in a relationship issue situation of like, I would love an independent party to come in here and start hitting us with these types of questions. Well, do you love me now? Do you love me tomorrow? Who do you love? What does he say? Are you in love with Ruth? He just hits that 4 times in a row. Are you in love with Ruth? Are you in love with Ruth? And Richard, of course, is a zombie, so he's got nothing.
He starts crying, I think.
I think he breaks down,
He's a broken man.
He is. He's lost a brother, a baby, and a wife.
And now Ruth is...
Ruth is about to go to prison.
Yeah. And
it's just all... And I think it's all happened in a span of 6 months, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Something like that, though. It's a lot. It's a lot for people to deal with. Ruth takes the stand. Quentin starts hammering her as well. Are you in love with this man? When did you fall in love with him? And she's sort of...
What kind of hose do you use in your garden?
Yeah. Was it a rental hoe? Did you purchase your hoe? When? When did you hoe? Did you hoe in August? And to her credit, she's like, yeah, I do love him. And I think I've always loved him.
Right. She does.
She's very honest.
Yeah.
She, of course, then collapses because it's all a bit much for her as well.
It's a good feint.
Yeah. Oh. And it's intense. I don't find any of this to be... These type of scenes can very easily become funny, right? To our modern eyes. I don't get that from this personally.
No, actually, you felt like that's the saying. A lot of things you felt in this movie.
Contemporary, it still works. I really think so. Richard takes the stand again, makes it very clear. Ellen was capable of anything. Yes, she was that kind of monster. Or yes, she was that sort of monster. And so... Richard basically just spills on all of it. And in doing so, makes himself an accessory, Ruth is found not guilty, but Dick has to go away for a couple of years, and this is why end of the longest flashback you can conceive of. Yeah, the whole movie's a flashback.
The entire movie's a flashback.
And
we're back. We're back at
Back of the Moon.
yeah,
Maine.
yep,
Heading to Back of the Moon.
right. And Glenn Roby, the totally ineffectual attorney, like the worst attorney ever, like does nothing during this entire 15-minute trial
Zero
sequence.
investigation.
Yeah.
Zero defense.
No further questions, Your Honor. It's like, what am I paying you for, Glenn? I guess for use of the ranch. It is a very nice ranch, so maybe that's the hookup that they needed.
All those billable hours.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, all that. Did they? How many hours did they spend dumping Dad's ashes out on my property? Yeah, we can bill for that for sure.
We can bill them for that.
And yeah, and then we end the film. You know, Glenn wraps up his little story, and we end at Back of the Moon, where Richard rows his canoe up, and Ruth is there waiting for him.
Oh, I missed this part.
And they are finally together. Back of the Moon.
Fuck you.
And he is back there. This is the spot where Danny died. Apparently, he's been able to move past that. End of movie.
Is there a part 2?
And then it turns out Ruth is twice as crazy. Yeah, it was Ruth playing the long con. Okay, so this has been a big movie, right? Shrishma Naik.
Yes.
The ultimate question. Do we keep watching this?
Yeah, I liked it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you said that so far of all the films we've watched.
This one was the...
Yeah, okay. So, because you can identify with...
Not even that. I just, it was more, in general, I was more entertained by this one.
Okay.
And I was, it wasn't like, I watched it like all the way through, and there wasn't any issues with attention span or anything like that.
I'm glad to hear. I was a bit concerned.
Yeah,
because it is a lot of people from a long time ago standing around in rooms talking to each other. But I'm glad to hear it.
This one, for whatever reason, this one I enjoyed.
Okay.
And I would say we can keep watching it.
Okay. That's great news.
It won't be on the top of my list.
Okay.
But it will be there.
Okay. Carolyn, we keep watching this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Keep watching this one. I love a crazy bitch. Takes one to know.
Fair enough.
Right?
Hey-o.
Just kidding. No, I mean, I had never seen this before. I really enjoyed it. Again, I kind of didn't know what direction any of it was going to take. And I was pleasantly surprised and would totally watch it again and probably find some new things in it. Yeah.
I'm in total agreement. This is a very watchable movie. I love this movie. I'm really happy to have found it in a way, just because
So you also watched for the first time 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not
It's
earlier.
very recent in my world. And it's just very strange to me. It must have been a fairly lost film because I was that nerd, checking out movie books from the library. So I would have run into this at some point, but I just don't remember hearing anything about it. And it's shocking to me because this is a movie that I think holds up really well, still works.
Yeah.
It is as crazy as anything that comes out nowadays.
I hope Ellen is up there also. I mean, I don't know what heaven would do to her, as I said. I'm not sure.
The devil.
I'm not sure what heaven's gonna fix there. But if we believe in reincarnation, I hope she came back as a more peaceful soul.
Yeah, I hope so too, that she wasn't quite as troubled. That'd be good for her.
You guys think she made it to heaven?
No. I mean,
is this why? Okay.
pretty sure not.
Maybe this is coming together for me. Maybe this is why we're seeing so many sky shots, so many ceiling shots. Maybe
because they keep referencing
heaven is supposed to just be,
the universe
in the background. Just we should always be thinking of heaven,
like all looking up.
Leave her to ceiling. That's what we should call the remake.
Leave her to ceiling beams.
Guys, so the other thing we neglected to talk about at the beginning of the show, but now that we're out of premiere week,
right?
What I wanted to do, the purpose of starting in 1945 is I want to give you some tentpole years. So we're just going across our entire window of time. So 1945 covered. This is what life is like as the war is coming to a close. Next week.
But they made no reference to the war in this
movie. No.
Like zero.
Which is kind of interesting because, boy, the war is on everybody's minds at this time. Yeah. And it's mentioned in almost every film that you will see in this 5-year period. So that is an interesting point, that it's like a non-factor. And I wonder if it's because maybe the book was written pre-war? Maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. This is an era where, and we still see this a little bit today, but definitely best-selling books got developed into films really quickly. A lot of the stuff we're going to be watching comes from a novel. So we're going to fast forward next week, 1955. Are you guys ready for this? Ooh. We're going to be watching The 7-Year Itch.
Yes.
Directed by Billy Wilder, starring Marilyn Monroe, Tom Ewell, and Evelyn Keyes. And I will give you a little teaser. When his family goes away for the summer, a hitherto faithful husband with an overactive imagination is tempted by a beautiful neighbor. And so ends yet another episode of Old Movie Time Machine. Thank you for hanging in there for Leave Her to Heaven. It remains. I mean, I just re-listened to this whole thing, and I love it even more somehow. Go check it out if you didn't do so already. And if you enjoyed the conversation that you heard, please understand that it was way longer, like more than double the length of what you just heard. And you can find that uncut conversation over on our Patreon feed. We call it the Boom Room. The link is in the show notes, of course, so you want to go check that out. And for $2 a month, you can get complete uncut episodes. It's like more than twice the content that you're getting here. So check that out. And meanwhile, next Wednesday, our homework is The 7-Year Itch with Marilyn Monroe and Tommy Ewell. So if you're going to watch that with us and listen to us talk about it and be a part of the conversation later, you want to stream The 7-Year Itch at the following locations: DirecTV and Spectrum On Demand. And you can also rent it with Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft, Redbox, and then again DirecTV. And you can buy it at most of those places as well. But you can also buy it, this will blow your mind, AMC On Demand. And so go check out The 7-Year Itch, and we will see you here next Wednesday on Old Movie Time Machine.